Hello and welcome to my channel, The Complete CSC Guide, and I am Sanskriti. Now today I am going to teach you about a topic from our networking, that is the network performance. Okay, so previously in different classes we have seen different aspects of our networking, that is different layers, OSI model, etc., the transmission media. Now the main thing is how the performance of the network is measured. Since when you are talking about a network, so obviously how your network is performing, that is a very important topic of your networking. And this topic, many people they skip this topic, but you have to study this topic since it's a very important topic. And many questions, different questions comes in different examinations related to this particular topic, that is network performance. Okay, so today I will discuss about each and everything about your network performance, each and every topic. Okay, it's a very small topic, not very huge one, but it is not so much time consuming also, but it is important for your examination purpose. Okay, so first of all, let's see what is network performance. So network performance is basically, it will show you how your network is going to perform. So some basic factors are there, okay, by which factors you can understand that how your network is performing. Is it performing as a good factor or it's a bad one? Okay, so your network performance will be measured with the help of some factors. So what are those particular things? That is, first one is our bandwidth. We will measure the performance of the network by the help of bandwidth. Okay, next is throughput. That is also a factor by which you will see how your network is going to perform. Third is latency. It is also a factor to measure the network performance. Fourth is jitter, and fifth is round trip time. So these are the basic 5 main topics which is covered under this network performance. And each and every these factors, they also have some factors within them which are important to measure your network performance. Together these all things will show you how your network is performing. Okay, so we will study each and everything one by one. Okay, now first one is our bandwidth. You have many times you have heard about this word bandwidth. Now what is this bandwidth? So bandwidth of a network is given by the number of bits that can be transmitted over the network in a certain period of time. So here we are talking about the bits, that's our physical layer. Okay, so we have studied about what are bits. Now what is a bandwidth? Bandwidth is basically given the number of bits that can be transmitted over a network, but for a particular period of time. Okay, for a given period of, or for a certain period of time in a network. So basically this is the factor which is important, very important factor to measure your network performance. Again, bandwidth of a network is given by the number of bits that can be transmitted over the network. When your bits are transmitted over your particular network, at that time you have to see how many bits are being transmitted over your network in a certain period of time. Whatever time you are taking to see at a particular time how my network is performing, to see what is the bandwidth of my network for a particular time, at that time, that is your certain time which is going to be measured. At that particular time, how your network is performing, what's the bandwidth of your network, that is the number of bits which has been transmitted over your network at that particular time. So this is the definition of your bandwidth. Okay, now bandwidth can be measured in two different values. As I have already told you, each and every factor, they have also some factors related to them which is important, right? So bandwidth also have two kinds of values which are important to be seen or to measure the network performance. One is bandwidth in hertz. We measure the bandwidth in hertz. So first one is bandwidth in hertz. Second is bandwidth in beats per second. That is your BPS. You have heard about this term. that is your BPS. What is this BPS? Beats per second. So BPS and bandwidth in hertz. Okay, so these are the two values which are being used whenever you are measuring the bandwidth of a particular network. Now let's see what these two things are. Basically what these two things are. Okay, so bandwidth in hertz, what is that one? It refers to the range of frequencies contained in a composite signal or the range of frequencies a channel can pass. So a range of frequencies which can be passed over a particular channel, okay, or the range of frequencies contained in a composite signal, that is mixed signal. So a composite signal, when it is saying, so what is the range of frequencies within that particular composite signal, or the range of frequencies that can be passed over a particular channel, that is being told about your bandwidth in hertz. Okay, and for example, what is the example? That is, we can say the bandwidth of a subscriber telephone line is 4 kilohertz. Then what is the meaning? That 4 kilohertz means it refers to the range of frequency. So this is the range of frequency, that is your 4 kilohertz is the range of frequency, okay, which can be passed over a particular channel. So if we tell that a particular subscriber telephone line has the bandwidth of a subscriber telephone line is 4 kilohertz, that means 4 kilohertz frequencies can be passed over a channel, or 4 kilohertz frequency, that is the range of frequency which can be passed over a channel, or it's contained in a composite signal. So this is how we measure when we are talking about bandwidth in hertz, right? So this is the first factor. Second one is your bandwidth in beats per second, that is bandwidth in BPS. Okay, so it refers to the number of beats transmitted per second. Bandwidth per second means number of beats that is transmitted per second. BPS obviously per second, that is number of beats that is transmitted per second. That is, for example, the bandwidth of a network is a maximum of 100 Mbps. This means that this network can send 100 Mbps. When I am telling you that this particular bandwidth of this particular network is maximum 100 Mbps, that means my particular network can send beats up to 100 Mbps. This is the maximum one. So network can send how much? Maximum 100 Mbps. 100 Mbps beats can be, that is beats per second can be sent. So 100 beats can be sent per second over my network. So this is the thing, how you will be explaining this one. When I am telling that my network is sending 100 Mbps, maximum 100 Mbps, that means by whatever beats are being transmitted, that is 100 in number. 100 beats are being sent per second over my network. So these are the two things, bandwidth in hertz and bandwidth in beats per second, that is BPS. Okay, so this means range of frequency. When you are talking about hertz, what is that? We are talking about frequency. Hertz is obviously related to your frequency. That means whenever you are telling that bandwidth is in hertz, obviously your mind will tell that this is talking about some frequency concept. Obviously, what is the frequency? So this will tell that range of frequency of a particular channel can pass. So this is about this one. So range of frequency. But here we are talking about beats per second, means number of beats that can be transmitted over my network per second. So these are the two basic concepts when you are talking about your bandwidth, right? Now, what is the relationship? Relationship is an increase in bandwidth in hertz means an increase in bandwidth in beats per second. So obviously, if an increase is happening in bandwidth in hertz, then an increase will be in bandwidth per second also. That means they are mutually, they are just increasing together. Okay, so they are directly proportional. So this is the factor about these two things when we are talking about our bandwidth. So bandwidth is a factor where you will be seeing how many bits are transmitted over a network in a certain period of time, and bandwidth in hertz means number of frequency range, that's the whole frequency range, and bandwidth per second means number of bits transmitted over a network per second. So this is about your whole bandwidth concept. Next one is our throughput. What is that one? A measure of how fast we can actually send data through a network. This is bandwidth means we are sending the bits. Now throughput means how fast we can send data through our network. So you have to see how fast you can send your data, right, through your network. That is your throughput. Okay, so bandwidth in bits per second and throughput may seem to be same, but they are different. That means bandwidth in bits per second means what? How many bits we are sending per second, and here throughput is how fast we are sending. Here also we are sending our data, there also we are sending our data, but what's the difference? Difference is how we are sending our data. At that time no fast concept is there, but when you are talking about this one, that is your throughput, that means at that time you will be seeing how actually how fast we can send our data, right? Means how fast we can send, and there we are sending the data normally. So this is the basic difference. Otherwise if you will see the main definition, they will seem to be same, but the different concept is what? The different one is that how fast, and this is normally sending the data. So this is the main difference between your bits per second, bandwidth in bits per second, and your throughput, right? Now a link may have a bandwidth of B bps, that is B bandwidth per bits per second, right? But we can send only T bps through this link. T is always less than B. That is, what is the thing? A link may have a bandwidth of B bps, means suppose some B is some particular measurement, that is that bits per second. There we have understood that 100 bps means 100 bits per second. So here B bits per second is the link may have bandwidth, that is they can send B bits per second. Okay, this is the way, but we can send only T bps through this link. So this is my objection, that is T bps means T bits per second can be sent, only this can be sent, but the bandwidth is this one. So obviously T will be less than B always. This is the factor when you are measuring the throughput. Again, the bandwidth is a potential measurement of a link. The throughput is an actual measurement of how fast we can send data. So bandwidth means what? The potential measurement of your link. Whenever you are sending your data through a link, a particular link, so bandwidth will show you the potential measurement of your particular link. Okay, that how much your link can send, the maximum how much your link can send. So the potential of your link can be measured with the help of bandwidth. But when you are talking about the throughput, that is how fast, that is your actual measurement of how fast you can send the data. This is my link, okay, and this is a measurement how what is the potential. This is the main measurement, that this how I can send this particular data, this much particular data over my network. This is my bandwidth. But how fast I can send my data through this link, that is the actual measurement. Okay, that one is my actual measurement, and that is given by your throughput. So this is the basic difference between your bandwidth and your throughput. Now, for example, we may have a link with a bandwidth of 1 Mbps. Okay, my link bandwidth is 1 Mbps. Now, but the device connected to the end of the link may handle only 200 kbps. My link have the bandwidth of 1 Mbps. I can send data over my link that is of 1 Mbps. Okay, but what is happening here? The devices which are connected at the end of the link, okay, that is the receivers, they should also have some capacity. if I have a sending capacity of 1 Mbps, but they have some capacity of 200 kbps only. This means that we cannot send more than 200 kbps through this link. How we will send that one? Since my channel have a particular potential, it have a particular measurement of 1 Mbps, I can send the data. It has the capacity of 1 Mbps of my channel. But when I am sending the data, some devices which are connected at the end of my particular link, they have the capacity of 200 kbps. When they have the capacity of 200 kbps, so obviously I cannot send data more than 200 kbps. I have to send data which will be, we cannot send more than 200 kbps, so it should be less than 200 kbps, then only I can send the data. So it's a wastage of data, wastage of your channel capacity. But you can send data only of that particular measurement which can be received at the end of the particular link. Otherwise they will not be able to receive your data. If you are sending more than 200 kbps data, they will not be able to receive that one. So you have to take care of that particular thing. So this is the whole concept of your throughput. So it is the actual measurement and bandwidth is the potential measurement, that how much your link can take, okay, how much your link can send, the whole capacity, the potential measurement. But your throughput will show you the actual measurement of how much your data is being sent, how fast your data is being sent, right? So this is the concept of your throughput. Now third one is our latency. What is latency? Latency or delay defines how long it takes for an entire message to travel from one end of a network to the other. Now we are talking about the delay, talking about the time. Latency means some delay. What kind of delay? How much time when I am sending a whole message from one end to another end, there is a link in between. Now I am sending my message from one end to another end. Now latency is the delay or the time which is required to send my message from one end of the link to another end, right? So it defines how long it takes for an entire message to travel from one end of a network to another end. So the entire message, when I am starting the message from one first bit to the whole bits, the last bit, okay, so the whole entire message when I am sending, the entire message is traveling from one end of my link network to the another end. So this time, how long the period is going to be, that from this edge to that edge, or from this link to this end to that end, when my message is passing, so the entire message when it's passed is travels, so that particular time is being taken as latency. That is your latency or delay. Okay, that's my delay. Obviously I'm sending and it is making some delay to send that one. So this particular time period, whole time period, which is measured by latency, sending the whole message, how long it takes to send the whole message, the entire message from one end of the network to another. That is your latency. Now latency is made up of 4 components. 4 components are there. Again some other components are there, right? So some different components are there which is making the whole latency. Okay, first one is propagation time. Propagation time is the first factor. What are they? We will see later. Now second one is transmission time, third is queuing time, and fourth is processing delay. Now whenever you are measuring the latency, what is the whole mathematical concept? That is latency is equals to propagation time plus transmission time plus queuing time plus processing delay. So when these all things, these 4 things are added up, then you will get your particular latency. Latency means propagation time, your transmission time, your queuing time, and last one is your processing delay. When these all things are been taken up, they are added, you will get your particular latency, right? Now let's see what are these particular things, okay, one by one. First one is your propagation time. What is that one? It measures the time required for a beat to travel from the source to destination. So it is the measurement of the time to required for a beat to travel from source to destination, means sender to receiver. The sender is sending and the receiver is getting that one, right? So the sender is sending the bits and the receiver is receiving the bits. The source to destination. So this is the time measurement. Propagation time is the time measurement of what? Of the time required for an particular beat to travel from source to destination, to sender to receiver. The beat is traveling. So this particular time is your propagation time. Now, propagation time is equals to distance by propagation speed. What is the speed of the propagation? That is, what is the speed of traveling. So what is the distance by your propagation speed? What is your speed? So time is equals to distance by speed. So what is your time? That is, your propagation time is equals to whole distance of your network, the whole distance which is going to travel, by the speed of the beats which is going to travel. So this is given as propagation time. Okay. Now, the propagation speed of electromagnetic signals depends on the medium and on the frequency of the signal. Whenever electromagnetic signals, they are being sent, okay, so what they depends on? What is the dependence of them? That is on the medium. What kind of medium you are sending, that you have seen that unguided media and your guided media in previous classes. You can see those videos also. So that particular thing, that is your medium. What kind of medium it is going to pass through, that is the thing which is dependent whenever we are talking about the electromagnetic signal. And the second one is the frequency of the signal. What is the frequency of your signal? So these things are mainly important when we are talking about the electromagnetic signals. Second, propagation time is equals to distance by your propagation speed. And propagation time, what is that one? That is your time required, is the measurement of the time required for the beats to travel from source to your destination, right? So this is the basic thing of your propagation time. Now second one is your transmission time, right? So this is done, your propagation time. Next, transmission time. In data communications, we don't just send one bit, we send a whole message. What we know in data communication, that there we are not sending one bit. At that time, whenever you are sending a data means what? Not one bit. We are sending a whole message. A whole message is being sent. So we are not talking about a single bit. We are talking about a whole message now. So the first bit, we are here. The concept is what? About the transmission time. The first bit may take a time equals to the propagation time to reach its destination. So first bit, whenever we are talking about the whole bits, okay, so this is my whole message. So this is my first bit and this is my last bit, n. Okay, so first bit, what is that one? Your first bit may take a time. How much time first bit can take? Equals to propagation time to reach its destination. Propagation time to reach its destination, from source to destination when it's traveling, the first bit of your message will take the time which is equal to the propagation time to reach the destination. Now what about the last bit? Let's see. The last bit also may take the same amount of time. Maybe your message is short or maybe your message is long. Maybe your last bit also take the same amount of time to travel. So this is what is about your transmission time. Now there is a time between the first bit leaving at the sender and last bit arriving at the receiver. So the first bit, there is some time, okay, this time is between, in between some time is there when the first bit is leaving from the sender is sending, this is the sender and this is the receiver. So when the sender is sending and the receiver is receiving here, okay, so this sender, when it is sending your first bit, first one, okay, then the last one. So first one when it's sending and the receiver when it is receiving the last bit. Okay, so it is receiving the last bit. In between there is some time. There is some time in between the sender to get the first bit. It's sending the first bit and the receiver to receive the last bit. So there is some arriving the last bit, arriving when the last bit is arriving at the receiver. At this particular there is a main time is there in between. Okay, the first bit leaves earlier and arrives earlier. The first bit, obviously there is no bit in between before the first bit, so obviously it will start its journey first, and obviously it will arrive also first. So last bit leaves earlier and it's arrive faster, that is earlier. The first bit, the last bit leaves late and also arrives late. This is common. Okay, now the transmission time of a message depends on the size of the message and the bandwidth of the channel. Transmission time, it will depend upon again two things. First one is size of the message. What is the size of the message? Okay, if your message is long, obviously time will be taken long. If your message is short, obviously time will be taken short. Now what is the bandwidth of the channel? Now what is the capacity of your channel? Two things are very important. Why important? Since whenever I am sending the message, how fast my message will go, it will depend upon my message is long or short. Again, how much capacity my channel have. If my channel have more and more capacity, obviously the message will travel fast. If my channel have less capacity, obviously there will be lower in speed. Okay, so transmission time is equals to message size by bandwidth. How much your message is, how much the length of your message, that particular thing by your bandwidth, the capacity of your channel. So this divided by, that is your message size divided by bandwidth, that will give you your transmission time. So now you have this propagation time and your transmission time is also with you. Two factors you have already got. So your propagation time was distance by your propagation speed, right? Now in your transmission time, that is your message length by your bandwidth. Okay, so this is the second factor, that is message time by bandwidth. Now third one is your queuing time. Okay, so queuing time, time needed for each intermediate or end device to hold the message before it can be processed. So time needed for each intermediate or end device to hold the message before it's processed. That is the message when we are processing the message. Before that, how much time which is needed for each device to hold the message before the message is being processed. At that time, that holding time, that queuing time, okay, how much time it is waiting in the queue, that is your queuing time. Okay, before it is being processed. So that is its queuing time, that is the holding of the message, how much time the message is being held by the devices. It is not a fixed factor. Queuing time is not a fixed factor, it is variable. Okay, now it changes with the load imposed on the network. How much load is imposed on the network? If your network is busy one, it will have a more queuing time, since it is having more and more messages going on, traveling. But if your network is not so much busy, then the queuing time will be less. Obviously the whatever message is being processed, they will be processed faster and the queuing time will be lesser. So it will depend upon how much your network is busy, that means how much load is imposed on your particular network. When there is a heavy traffic on the network, the queuing time will increase. Obviously that is the thing, when your traffic is there, heavy traffic is there in your network, more and more messages are being sent inside your network, then what will happen? Whatever message is being processed, they have to wait in the queue for a longer period of time, since it is having so many messages going on. Okay, but if your particular network, it is having a less load, okay, the traffic is less, then what will happen? Your queuing time will be lesser one, it will decrease. They have to, the message whatever you are sending, that will be taking a lesser time to stay in the queue to be processed. So the queuing time will obviously depend upon the load imposed, that is how much traffic is there in your particular signal, okay, particular network. Now an intermediate device such as a router queues the arrived message and processes them one by one. Here is a factor, that is your router. We will study about this router in further classes, okay. But here a router is a factor. Whenever the messages they have been sent to a particular router, it will see the IP addresses which is being there, to which network it had to be sent, so it will then route the particular message to that particular network. So router is a particular intermediate device. It is working as an intermediate device in a particular network, okay. So basically it's for transport layer. So it is whenever the whatever message is being delivered, so here router is working as an intermediate device, right. So it is a helping device. It will queue the arrived messages. When a router is used, some messages when they are coming one by one, so it will obviously queue the messages. It will make a queue of the whole messages which are arriving at the router. Then what it will do, it will process them one by one. Then one by one those messages will be processed and they will be delivered to their particular destination. So router here is, it is displaying the role of an intermediate device, right. It will, first of all, the messages are reaching the router. The router is making a queue of those messages, which is first come first. Queue means what? The first come first serve basis. So it is making the queue and it is sending those messages, is processing those messages one by one. It is sending those messages to the different destinations which they are destined to, okay. Now if there are many messages, each message will have to wait. If there are many messages, the number of messages they are more, then they have to wait. Obviously the waiting time will be more. So from this particular concept, what you get that if my network is having a huge load, it is having a huge traffic, then obviously the queuing time will be more. And if my network have a less traffic, a small network, or it's having a less traffic, then the load imposed on the network is less and it's not heavy. Obviously the queuing time will be less. So here the last one, that is if there are many messages, then the messages have to wait. The waiting time is your queuing time, okay. So this is all about your queuing time, okay. It's very simple, very important also, and very simple also. Now the last one is processing delay. This is the last one, that is your processing delay. What is that one? Time that the nodes take to process the packet header. Now here we are talking about the nodes. What is that one? The time that the nodes take to process the packet header. Here we are talking about the packets, that is our transport layer, okay. So here the packets, when they are traveling, so how the packets have been delivered or how they are traveling, so how they are processed, the packet header, how it's processed, that particular time is your processing delay, okay. Now here is a key component in network delay. What is a network delay key component? That is your processing delay. Processing delay is a particular key component of your network delay, okay. So processing delay is also a component, main component of your network delay. Now during processing of a packet, nodes may check for bit level errors in the packet that occur during transmission. Now the nodes, what they are checking here in the network layer, also we have seen what they are checking here. They are basically checking that for any bit level errors are there in the packets. Whenever we are sending the packets, if any bit level errors are there, that is being checked during processing of a packet, and that occur during transmission, as well as determining where the packet's next destination is. It is also checking, it's checking for the errors as well as it is checking for the next destination. I am processing the packets now. It is checking for the bit level errors, and it is seeing the destination address, to which address it is to be processed. So this is the what, whenever the processing delay means what are the things which are being done in the processing, that is your particular transmission, what is the errors, that is your bit level errors, and where the packet's next destination is. So in this, between this processing delay, again two factors are there. What is the factors? First one is checking the bit level errors, some errors are there or not, and the second one is your packet's next destination, which destination it is going to be destinated. Whenever the next destination, it have to find that one. So these are the two things which are being done when we are talking about a processing delay. In this processing delay, these two basic things are being done. So here your processing delay is also done, right? Now it is about your network layer. Okay, whenever we are talking about the packets. Okay, now bandwidth delay product, again a factor is there, that is bandwidth delay product. What is that one? Number of bits that can fill the link. Now you have the link, you have some measurement about the capacity of the whole link. Now bandwidth delay product, what is that one? Bandwidth delay product is the number of bits which can fill the whole link. How I will know that my whole link is reserved? Number of bits which can fill my whole link, that is given by this bandwidth delay product. This is the thing which will show you that how your whole how much bits will be needed to fill your whole particular link, right? So from these all things, these all particular factors, whenever you are adding this propagation time with transmission time, with our queuing time, with our processing delay, when you are adding these all factors, you will get this particular latency. So to understand this factor latency, you have to study this all four things, that is your propagation time, transmission time, your queuing time, and your propagation delay. So these are the four things, basic are the major four things which will add up and give you the latency. If you will not know about these four factors, you will not be able to understand what is latency is. Okay, a simple word for latency is our delay. Simple word, that is our delay. But in between that particular delay, there is a huge thing, right? There are four big factors, right? So these factors are also important. If you understand the word latency in one word, that will be delay. But when you will understand the whole factors which are related to this latency, then you will get this huge chapter, everything, your propagation time, transmission time, each and everything. Now, so this is the whole thing up to your latency, that is your processing delay and bandwidth delay. So this is the whole thing which is under your latency. Now next factor is our jitter, right? So jitter is what? Problem that if different packets of a data encounter different delays and the application using the data at the receiver side is time sensitive. So whenever we are sending some audio or video, so it is very important that the whole data should be in a proper time, because if I am sending a video and the delay of different data, okay, that is different packets of a data encounter different delays. Suppose I am sending a data, okay, and my video is broken into small pieces. Now if each and every packet which I am sending, after this clip I have to send this clip, after this clip, so if these particular packets of data which I am sending, and these particular packets, they have, each and every packet have different delay, then what will happen? If I am sending a particular data that is 1 ms particular delay, okay, then next one is 2 ms, next one is 3 ms. So after a particular time, the whole messages will be going on one by one, and this particular delay, if it is not same and the delays are different in number, then or different in time, then what will happen? when the message will be received at the receiver side, it will be a haphazard one. You will not be able to understand what the message was, what the particular data have been sent to you. So it is very important that the particular data which it is in the time when we are sending about your we are talking about video or audio messages, right? When we are sending video or audio data, it is very important that the delay should be proper, so that when the receiver is receiving the data, that should be a proper message which will be received at the receiver. If the delays are different, at that time the jitter factor is coming, that the problem when the delays are different and the message will be which will be received, that will in a haphazard manner the message will be received. Okay, so the problem that is different packets of data encountered, okay, a different delays, and the application using the data at the receiver side is time sensitive. Obviously your videos, your audios, this particular message, they are time sensitive. It's very important that each and everything is sent at a particular time, then only you will receive a particular clip of video, or you will receive a particular video or a particular audio clip that will be in a proper manner. If the delays will be in a haphazard manner or it will be different, then obviously you will get audio or video which is of no use. Okay, so this is the factor which is called a jitter, the problem, that is the difference of these delays. Okay, the difference of delays of different packets. When we are talking about the packets, this particular delay of the each and every packet should be sent at a particular delay. But if this delay is different for different packets, then obviously your message which is time sensitive will be of no use. Now, if the delay for the first packet is 20 ms, right, 20 microsecond, for the second one is 45 ms, then third one is 40 ms. So real-time application that uses the packet endures jitter. This is the thing which is called jitter. When my first packet, it is having a delay of your 20 ms, next packet 45 ms, next packet 40 ms. So you can see the difference in the delays. It's a huge difference, 20 to 45. It's a huge difference in the delay time. So obviously this particular thing, when the real-time application, when it is using this particular thing, it is getting the message, then it will endure this factor, that is your jitter. Jitter is the factor when different packets are having different delays and your particular data or your particular message is a case sensitive one. At that time, this difference of delays will give you a factor, that is your jitter. Jitter is that particular factor. I hope you understand what is jitter. Okay, now this is the basic concept about a jitter, that is the difference in delay factor of different packets. When the factor when the message is when your particular message is time sensitive, that is audio and video purpose. Now last one is your round trip time, that is RTT. Okay, so RTT refers to how long it takes to send a message from one end of a network to the other and back, rather than the one-way latency. Means when I am sending my data from one sender to your receiver, one end to another end, right, this is one-way latency. Then again the round trip, when the message again is coming back, that is from one end to another of a network, right, then again back, when it is coming again back, right. So this particular thing, when it is coming back to the first one, that is again to the sender where it had been started. So this particular thing is you call round trip. Okay, that is your round trip time, RTT. Now rather than this is called as round trip time, RTT of the network. So the message is going again the round trip when it is coming back. So this whole time is called round trip time. Okay, that is how much time is taken when the message is traveling from one end to another end and again it is coming back. So this particular thing is your round trip time, the round trip, whole trip. Okay, whole trip, that is your round trip time. So this is basically your whole chapter of your network performance. So what were the things? First one was your bandwidth, right? Bandwidth was given number of bits that can be transmitted over a network over a certain period of time, right? And we have two kinds of bandwidth. One is bandwidth in hertz and second one is bandwidth in bits per second. Okay, so in hertz was when we are talking about the frequency, the range of frequency which is transmitted over a network, or which can pass, or which is contained in a composite signal. And your bandwidth in bits per second means number of bits which is being transmitted over a network per second. So these are the basic things about your bandwidth. Next one is your throughput, that is the how fast your message can travel from your particular network, within your particular network. So measure of how fast we can actually send data through a particular network. Now bandwidth in bits per second, that is throughput, maybe they can be same, but they are not same, since the how fast factor is there. So this is the actual measurement of your network, and bandwidth was your potential measurement of your network, and here your throughput is the actual measurement of your network. So this is done. Now latency is what? It is the delay. What is delay? How long it takes for a message to travel from one end of a network to another end. So one end to another end, how much the time is going to be taken, that is your latency, that is your delay. Now latency which is having four kinds of things: propagation time, your transmission time, your queuing time, and your propagation delay. So now what was the propagation time? It was the measuring of the time required for bits to travel from source to destination. What was the propagation time formula? Distance by your propagation speed. Now next one was your transmission time. There we have seen that what was our transmission time? Message size by bandwidth. So how much your message size is will be depending on your transmission time will be depending on your message size and the bandwidth, that is the capacity of your network, right? And next one was your queuing time, that is if the network is having a huge traffic, then the queuing time will be more. How much time a particular message is being holded by a device before it is being propagated or before it is being processed. So this is the queuing time. If your network is having a huge traffic, then the queuing time will be more. If your network is having a less traffic, then your queuing time will be less. The dependence of the queuing time, that is your waiting time of the message, will be depending upon the traffic of your network or the load imposed on your network. So that was about your queuing time, right? And the processing delay time, that needs a node needs to process the packet header, that was your propagation delay. What kind of things were checked within the propagation delay? First one, the bit level errors. If some bit level errors have been there in the packets, that particular thing was checked here. And the second one, the packet's next destination. Okay, so this is the thing about your propagation delay. So when we are adding this all things, we will be getting the latency of our network. Now bandwidth delay product, it was the number of bits which will be there to fill the whole link. Link means the whole link, how much bits are needed to fill the whole link of your network, that is given by the bandwidth delay product. And the last one was your jitter. Jitter means we are talking about audio video type of messages which are time sensitive. When we are sending this kind of data over our network, at that time what is the main factor? That is, whenever we are sending this kind of data, so a factor which is working, that is jitter, means the delay of our particular packets. Each and every packet should have a same delay, then the jitter factor will not come. But the problem arrives when each and every packet have some different delays, right? So if some different delays are there, at that time this factor comes, that is jitter. Since your all the whole packets of messages which are being sent one by one, those messages will not arrive at a particular time. So jitter is that particular factor which is a problem here when this delay of particular delays are different packets, right? And the round trip time. What is round trip time? The whole time required to a message to travel from source to destination, that is your latency. and again back, right? Again back means latency means from source to destination, but again back means when it is taking a round trip, a whole trip. Okay, so this whole trip, that is your round trip time, which is taking the whole trip. Okay, so this is the thing, that is your round trip time. So this was your whole chapter of your network performance. These all factors are very necessary when you are talking about your network performance, how your network is going to perform. These factors, when you will see one by one, each and every factor, when you will calculate by the mathematical formulas, then you will get a whole thing, means the whole observation of how your network is performing. So this is the basic idea of your network performance. I hope whatever things I have taught you today, this will help you in your examinations. And if you have any other topics related to networking or any other subjects, you can feel free to tell me in the comment section, so that I will come to know about what topics you need, and from my end I will try that I can give you more and more suggestions to related to different subjects of your computer science and engineering, which are important for your examination purposes in different competitive exams. Okay, so I have taken now networking subject, and I think I should complete this one whole, then we will go to a next subject again. If in between you need any topic which is very important for you to know, you can feel free to suggest me that. I will obviously try to tell you about those things. Okay, till then, if you like my channel, you can like, subscribe, so that we can more and more people can get value from my knowledge. And till then, take care and goodbye.